This is Mukta. Welcome to Divine Shakti Arts. Hello everyone, thank you for joining us. Today I had the pleasure of sitting down with Guruprasad. He is a very special, loving being, and he's a devotee of Sri Atmananda as well as our very own Simranji. And he shares his experience of his time living with the master in India. And it's a really nice interview, and you get a glimpse of what it means to have a devotion, to carry a certain amount of devotion with you. And you can feel it by the way he speaks and what he says. And also you get a really nice glimpse into some of the cultural insights and qualities of India with everything that he shares and talks about. So it's a really nice interview and kind of a learning experience at the same time. So without further ado, we can get into the interview. Thank you. Hello everyone. Thank you. I'm happy to introduce a very blessed soul here that's with us, and his name is Guruprasad. And he has been in the Divine Shakti community now for a couple years, and it's just been a wonderful thing to see him grow and expand and become more and more of himself, and just to see all the different facets of someone get revealed is a very beautiful thing. And yeah, there's Guruprasad. Guruprasad, thank you so much for joining with us.
Namaskaram Mukta ji. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
And before we start, can we start with the Guru invocation?
Oh, I would love that.
And so we will start with Guru mantra.
Sure.
Because all the grace is from Guru. And Om Shri Gurabhyo Namaha. Om Shri Param Gurabhyo Namaha. Om Shri Paratpar Gurabhyo Namaha. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Meri Mai Shakti Sarupe Namastute Namastute Namo Namaha Namastute Namastute Namo Namaha. Namaskaram everyone.
So can you give like a little brief explanation of what that mantra is meant to
Sure.
invoke?
So first, what is Guru means? Guru word literally means, Gu means darkness and Ru means remover. So who removed the darkness, like ignorance within us, is a Guru.
Right.
And with this mantra, we are inviting Guru force in within us, because sharing with others can be egoistic sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So bringing Guru force and realizing this, what I'm sharing with everyone is not me. The Guru Prasad, my name, which is given by my Gurudev, Swami Shri Atmananda, and delivered by my Guru Mai Simran Mai. So it's very important. So Guru Prasad, who's Guru Prasad? First of all, Guru Prasad is not the question who's Guru Prasad. The question is what is Guru Prasad? And Guru Prasad is the higher consciousness which is given by my Guru, which I am carrying in my physical body. So inviting my Guru, and I'm connecting my higher consciousness with them to share what I have experienced in my spiritual journey. And
yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think you start to share and you get your own. It's very easy to get your ego activated,
yes.
And then you're not coming from a place that's serving.
Yes.
That's serving the listeners. That's serving people. Serving the world. So
True.
I really appreciate you doing that, because it's kind of it puts like a stake in the higher consciousness or
yes.
something like that for that to be the main intention that flows
yes.
through. So yeah, I just now at this point, I think maybe we can warm up the listeners to a bit who you are, maybe like just a brief little background of where you came from and that type of thing. What kind of brought you here to
Sure.
California?
So my spiritual journey started 5 years ago, and it started with Jack and Coke. It's funny story. The way it started, I grew up in Hindu family in India.
Yeah.
Doing ritual prayers every day without knowing it.
Oh wow.
Unconsciously, I was just following the footstep of my family,
Right.
and seeing, growing all those things, and doing unconsciously, But I used to do prayer every day, every morning. So one night I was just sitting in my apartment, drinking my Jack and Coke, and watching this movie called PK. And that movie shook my belief system, actually.
Which movie was it?
It was a Bollywood movie called PK.
Oh, okay.
And that movie based on religious belief. So when I was watching, it really shook my core, and actually it shook my prayer. And it sound very funny, like how can Bollywood movie can shook something. But I think when you in that state, something opening in within you, I think it can change many things within yourself. So that night, that movie shook me so well, I decided I will not pray from tomorrow till I get the right answer from my prayer. And that next morning when I woke up, I did not pray. That's where my spiritual journey started.
I see. Okay. So there's something in that movie that what was it? It was questioning some sort of truth? Or?
Yes. So when we do prayer or religious rituals, we most of the time, like, we are not conscious what we are really doing,
Right.
It is not a love, it's a fear. It's a fear of God, fear of community and things. So that night, I didn't want to live in the fear anymore, I should have a love to God, not the fear of God. And that movie really represent that part. It's like how different religions and different people are living in a belief system. And spiritual journey, when it start, it's not about belief system, it's about asking questions, going within yourself to see what is within you, are you hypocrite? You know, or are you really true to yourself? You know.
Right.
So,
Right. So that's what triggered it for you.
yes. So that's where my journey started. I did Kriya Yoga for a couple of years, and then I met Simran Maiji.
Yeah.
Uh,
And this is like so you started off in India. This is where this happened, right? Where you were.
no, I was in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. So you were already here.
Yes.
And you watched this movie.
Yes.
And then it started.
Yes.
So you were just living like a normal kind of human life, basically, and making money, making a living,
Yeah.
kind of just like paying the bills, getting by, and just,
Sure.
yeah.
Yes. I was an entrepreneur trying to start my own startup companies,
Mm-hmm.
and married, and like family back home in India, parents responsibility.
Right.
So all like a society life I was
Right.
living
Society,
in.
householder kind of thing.
Yes. Yes. But and also like another aspect of me when that thing happened, like as ritual, like a startup company was falling down, my relationship was getting apart, my mom even my mom was going through a cancer therapy back home in India, so everything was coming in one pressure, and I used to drink half bottle Jack to go to sleep. So even that kind of situation I was in. But when that night, when that hit, and inner inquiry started, then everything slowly, gradually start changing, and from there, like my spiritual journey started, and seeking within myself the truth. And I met Guru Mai almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, Maiji or Simranji or
Yes.
Guru Mai. Yes.
And the same day I met Guruji Bhagwan, my Gurudev.
That's awesome.
So that's where the new beginning
Yeah.
in my life started.
Wow. And so it was just, were you connected to a master before that, or this was like the real, like, it was a big transition, I guess, once you met them?
Yes. When I met Guru Mai, I was walking questions, I had so many questions in my mind, and sitting with her, and she was answering one by one so lovingly, like I had hundred of questions,
Right.
like to ask her, and she was answering and answering and answering. And in the evening, when I met Guruji Bhagwan, which is also her
Yes.
guru, and then, to be very honest, I had my mind stopped working. Literally, like no thoughts. Like I had never thought what really happened within me. Like I never experienced that force ever before. And
Wow.
his presence was changing like a core of my psychic, and like mental was nowhere close, like when I was with him. So it changed whole experience of me.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, because Bhagwan is such a Gyani, and
Yeah.
he will have the most intricate answers,
Yes.
to anything,
Yes.
like he can answer a question, and it's so like ironic almost that when that you're in his presence and
Yes.
the mind gets erased in a sense, and you don't have that prompting for any question.
Oh, sometimes, yeah, it's hard to express like what happened in his present actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's just he's a miraculous being, and
yeah,
it's got to be thankful that that type of presence exists on the earth right now.
yes, I feel very fortunate to be in the presence of Sadgurus, my Gurudev, and also a mother force which my Simran Maiji carrying, and in those both presence, like what else you want?
It really captures both sides. And
Yes.
It's a divine love and divine knowledge.
Yes.
And it's a quite a beautiful thing to be in the middle of. So you've been kind of on a fast track here since you've met them, and going through the motions and all of that.
Yes.
And so at some point, I think you were then invited, right, to
Yes.
go.
So my burning within myself is getting higher and bigger, and I texted Gurudev and say, like, in his video, in his talk audio, he mentioned one thing. In his spiritual path, thousands of people walk. Out of 1,000, only few hundred stay on the spiritual path. Out of those few hundred, there's one or two reach their state. I don't want to disappoint anybody, but it's like you have to have a very high aspiration to keep walking on a spiritual path, right?
Absolutely.
So my burning was getting bigger and bigger, and I texted to Gurudev, and I also talked to Maiji. I say, if there's only 2% reach their state, I want to be one of them, right? And I texted him and I say, please tell me how to reach my state. And he say, come to ashram for 108 days to do sadhana. And that was life-changing for me.
Wow.
Because my guru is inviting me to come stay with him for 108 days and do sadhana. Like when I shared with Guru Mai, and she say, no matter what, don't lose this opportunity, because this comes in a many lifetime.
Wow.
So and then I packed everything up and just even during Corona, it did not bother me to travel.
Wow.
So I went to India.
So you went. So the master invites you to India to stay with him and have an intense, focused spiritual practice.
Yes.
And so you arrive there, and what happens?
So like at the process happening, actually before I started my trip, the Prakriti, the mother nature, play her game. All the hurdles you could ever imagine was there, and I could not find to sublet my apartment, so I had to let my apartment go. And everything I was planning at least 8-9 months ahead of time, all washed out. So in that situation, like I was somewhere like struggling to go at the first place, but I keep my aspiration high, and guided by my Guru Mai Simanji, always like supporting and helping to keep moving forward no matter what. And so I reached the Delhi after all the hurdle, and then I flew from Delhi to ashram. And the first day when I reached ashram afternoon, Guruji were not there, but other ashmatis welcomed me. And in the evening, Guruji was walking, and that was the first moment I saw him. Like he's carrying that aura around him, the force, as a yogi, but he walking like a king.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I saw him. I bowed down to his feet, and he said, "Guruprasad, you here?" and I say, "Yes, Ji Gurudev." And he say, "Okay, get rested. From tomorrow, sadhana will start." So then my schedule, he put me on the sadhana schedule from 4:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night. I mean, like all day schedule, different sadhanas and different things to do, and breaks in the middle. So, but it was quite good. Another thing I want to mention, like, how the mother force, the higher mother force, want you, how higher mother force guide you,
Right.
So when I was leaving, I asked Maiji, is give me advice, what should I be focused, before any advice if you want to give. She say, you're going, just stay one pointed, and I hold that advice to my heart. And Gurudev, in the ashram there were many people. For me, there's only one person exist, and that was my Gurudev. So I was one pointed towards what he's teaching, what he's sharing.
Right.
And whatever his step he want me to do, practices he want me to do, I was just one pointed. And then next morning that sadhana started, and because the ashram is Gyana Yoga and path of Gita, so there is always every day a yagna happen in the morning. So 5:30 the first chant start, and then meditation, and then yagna happen, and then you have a break for breakfast, and then again another Gita contemplation and chanting and things. So all day.
Yeah. And just for our listeners to understand, they may not be familiar with these words.
Yes.
Like a yajna, like it's you'd say it's like a fire offering to the higher forces, pretty much.
So in yajna, they do a fire ceremony, and as you said, is invoking the higher forces through fire element. And there is our mantras which we chant to invoke. And if listener want, I would love to share one Agni mantra.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So this is from Rig Veda, and this is the first mantra of Rig Veda, is called Agni mantra, is Om Agnimile Purohitam Yagyasya Deva Mitvijam Hotaram Ratnadhatamam Swaha Idam Agnai Namama. So we chant these mantras sometimes over 1,000 times. So, where the teachers are there, Vedic teachers and priests, acharyas, and they chant. I said the longest yagna for 4.5 hours.
Wow.
It was a Gita yagna the first day, and it was beautiful experience to sit in yagna and purifying my inner self and my physical body and my energy body. So it was a great experience to sit in a yagna.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've never had the chance to really do that. Yeah, there's of course the in the ashram there, Bhagwan's ashram, there's the little ceremonies during the meditations, but that seems like a different level of being in a ceremony.
Yes, definitely, because it is very authentic. It's like it came from pure Vedas. So every step it happens. happen through a Veda.
Right.
So scriptures. Hindu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. So so you're in India. You're with Bhagwanji, and you you ended up being there for what? Was it 3 months, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe you could share with us just some points, particular things that stand out for you of living with the master, like being right there,
Sure.
and maybe certain lessons or whatever you want to, whatever you feel to share.
Sure. So, as I said before, it was my privilege to be in the presence of my Gurudev. So the first experience I had, in the evening we went for walk, and while we walking, and in Arunachala, which is Tiruvannamalai, and is a city for Shiva, and
the whole city's based on Shiva, right?
yes, yeah,
It's yeah. So for those that don't know, the city is based around this mountain called Arunachala,
yes,
and Arunachala is believed to be an embodiment of that force, that god Shiva, and so there's ancient temples all around it, and newer temples, and it's a very special historical place to be. So there's a certain charm and magic in this spot in India for sure.
yeah. So I remember the first evening when we were walking and in the city, and there are many temples, and with my Gurudev we went to one temple, and while coming out of the temple I asked him, Gurudev, what is the difference between you going to temple as a Satguru and I'm going to temple as a Sadaq, like a spiritual person who's walking on the spiritual path? And he said very lovingly, when you go to temple, you have a bhava, means feeling of devotion. But when I go to temple, I am one with him. And it was so beautifully explained, like how, like his state is not different than Shiva's state himself.
Yeah.
You know, and higher state consciousness like Purushottama state and beyond. So, and it really, like, I said, wow, that's so beautiful. Like, and so while walking and we chant, he shared a very beautiful chant and shared with me. And in this chant, if you allow me to share,
Sure.
This chant is called Umara Misha Mahite Jagmahi Guru Pito Mato Bandhu Prabhu Nai. Umara Misha Mahite Jagmahi Guru Pito Mato Bandhu Prabhu Nai. The meaning of this chant is there is a love from the family which is a bondage. There is a love of gods. When you love gods and they are happy, they give you material wealth, fame, name, money, all wealth, right? Family give you security, social security and everything, you know, part of the society.
Right.
And Guru love is the only love which can liberate you.
Right.
So Shiva is talking to Parvati and explaining which one is the highest and pure love on this consciousness, and that is Guru love.
Oh, that's amazing.
When Guru give you love, he won't give you material wealth and things, but he liberate you from your ignorance.
Wow.
And life and birth. So it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, the greatest gift.
Yes.
That surpasses all.
Yes.
If you put that in contrast, between like these life achievements and things like that, it's like it all just dims into nothing when you see that opportunity of being liberated and free from the need and the desire to accomplish.
And when I chant this mantra, this make me feel is only one person exists, and that's my guru. I do not exist. So it really vibrant the whole.
That's lovely.
Inner self.
So and you this chant and the one you chanted before, the Agni mantra, is this a lot of this you learned in India?
Yes. When I was in the ashram, he put it on my schedule for me to go, and because we have also Gurukulam, which is a Vedic learning center.
Right.
So he send me there with teacher to sit down and learn Vedic chants, how to chant this Vedic mantra in a rhythm and words and everything.
Amazing.
So it was
What a great opportunity.
Yes, it was beautiful opportunity. Yeah, and then like it's just can't express like when your guru see your system and guiding you through your system step by step, like you're sitting on his lap and he's taking you higher and higher.
Right. It's not like some curriculum that's this broad curriculum that everyone is following, and you get to the next step and you graduate. It's so it's not like that. It's so catered to you and your complete original system.
Yes.
So it's like you have it's like the most beautiful, like, divine attention.
Yes.
That is helping you.
Yes, definitely. Another experience I had, really good one. Sometimes when you in the presence of Guru, I seen many people. They have a fear. As I said before, I sometimes in a religious belief also people have a fear of God.
Right.
And sometimes in the presence of Guru, some people tremble and So one day, Gurudev asked me to come and work with him online to do some reports, and I went and sit down with him in the room, and first experience was I was start trembling. My hand was shaking, and because like I'm not very good in, like I thought like he is more like
more knowledgeable.
Yeah. But then I inner consciousness rise, and I say, Guru Prasad, wait. Do you have a fear from your Guru or love? And the answer came, I love my Guru. So why you fear? And I'm telling you, in that moment, there was no shaking. I was so calm state, because I realized Guru is love, not a fear. And when you're in the presence of Guru, you feel that love. And in love, you want to offer. Your offering, your action became offering. And then it's coming from aspiration plane instead of ego.
Right.
So that day, like I felt very good experience. Then I always say now I love my Guru. I love my Guru Mai. So it's beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, to be able to sort that out is pretty powerful. That fear and the love, and if you can be in love, that's amazing.
Yes.
And just to stay in that. And then I've heard too, though, if someone's in fear of the Guru, at least they're in fear of the guru, and they're not ignoring the guru, right? So that at least they're on their mind. But the next step, which you're describing, is to not be, because fear can be kind of painful, right? It could be kind of like it's hard to deal with. And if you can kind of surpass that and be in that love state, it's like so huge. And yeah, that's a great example of doing that, because I think it's natural in a way for people to be in fear of the masters sometimes, because their very existence really threatens all that the human stands for, in a sense, because the humans, I'm just speaking off like just the top of my head right now, like the humans, like based off of kind of a false ideology. Like it's a false sense of existence that I, they believe they're this person with these memories, and this is who I am, and it's like this. It's the ego of what I'm talking about, and that reaffirms itself. And the guru is just kind of let that part of them go. They're more of like a pure channel. They're like a emptiness in the human. It is like a bundle of mental ideas that are kind of circulating and spewing out again, going back in and spewing out, and it's like, this is me, and this is why this is me, and it's going back and forth. And the guru doesn't have that, so it's just this empty, pure awareness that the pure energy which created this universe can just kind of express as need be in perfect ways to help itself bloom. And so it threatens your very existence, who you think you are. So it's, if you're in the ego, or if you want to be, if you're afraid to let the ego go, then you'll be afraid if you're clinging, right? So that's to find tricks to get around that. If your heart's opening, like I can clearly see you have an open heart, so you were able to pass that. But that's the key, it seems. Connect to that heart.
And true. And also, I think this is also, I would say, a guru grace. When you're in the presence of guru grace, and it opens your system. Would I think the same way 3 years ago? Probably not. So when you are connected with the force of the guru, then it work on your system, and when right time comes, it opens up. And when it opens up, it bring the higher consciousness in you, and then you can think beyond your limitation.
Right.
And limitation come from I-ness, when you identify, and identify bring a desire can bring expectations, and when your expectation doesn't meet, then anger comes and fear comes, and all these things come. But with the guru grace, like, his force works, so I was lucky.
Just kind of soothes all those steps, so you just kind of can connect right to the source, rather than having to go through all those steps leading to fear. Beautiful. So, what are some other things that you remember?
So from January 1st, New Year, Gurudev make this rule: every ashramattis will cook once a week. So whoever is staying will cook for others. Like we were 10 people in that time. So everyone cook either choice of yours, like you can cook for lunch or dinner, cook for
Right.
everybody and serve, right? So my turns come, and I'm not a good cook. I'm more like a dishwasher than cook. And so I called my sister to get recipe. And so like I cooked only those things which I love,
Right.
my favorite.
Yeah.
So I called my sister, get the recipe. And so when I start cooking,
Right.
because during staying in the ashram, with the grace and with the knowledge of reading and contemplating on Gita,
Mm-hmm.
and so one thing I clearly understood, like, let's work on the identification. Don't identify with the doership, don't identify with the process, and don't identify with the result. These three things was my main focus while doing my sadhana and reading and contemplating. And
Right.
so when I was cooking, I start chanting a mother chant. And cooking and chanting, and I start dancing in the kitchen. It was like all like, as you know, that mother chant, Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame, Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parame. And I felt like Mother Grace is there in the cooking, because when you're offering a cooking to a guru, like usually you don't taste,
Right.
So I didn't know how the salt will be or spices will be.
Mm-hmm.
So while chanting and things, cooking turned out good. So
It worked out.
Yes. So it was serving to Guru. It was a beautiful experience. And also everybody sitting there in the dining area, I didn't feel like they are different than my Guru. So everybody was sitting. I was just serving them as my Guru as well.
Wow.
Because that was the state I was in, like only one person exists, and that is only my Guru. Everybody else is in him or he is in everybody. So I was treating every single person as my Guru while serving food. So it was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's very powerful.
Yeah, those moments, like when you're in the ashram, and it just like take you to bliss state, like it just and it's not like you don't get churning and asking question, but you enjoy while you in that moment. So
Yeah. Wow. And the experience of chanting while cooking, it's very very peaceful and nice. And I can tell you from my own experience being at the Red Dot, sometimes there's like
you know better than anybody.
It's funny that I know that, because I never pictured myself as someone who would be cooking a lot. But there can be a lot of pressure, over there with certain orders. But it's such a simple go-to to just start chanting, even if it's just to yourself. Only maybe even you can hear it. But you're just chanting, and it's like you have something to kind of keep you going. Maybe there's like a lot of pressure, a lot of things need to get done. You just keep that going, and you get to experience the possibility of grace, like you were saying. It's like certain things might work out in a certain way, and in a magical way where everything gets done somehow, and no one's upset, and everyone's happy, even though things didn't necessarily go out as planned. Like maybe it's even better than you could have imagined. And I've experienced these things, and I do feel like the chanting has something to do with it.
Yes.
Even if it's just for my own state and my emotions being lifted up to a nice, happy level, where since I'm in that bliss and happiness, that actions are happening in a smooth way.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, is there anything else you'd like to share regarding specifically just being around Bhagwan? Or I also had some other thoughts maybe to share.
Yes, sure. I would be happy to.
Yeah, but no, but go ahead. If there's anything else, I'd love to hear it.
When I was in the ashram, we made the plan to go to Orissa.
Right.
And that trip was for 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
And Orissa is the state where is very, is very famous for temples.
Right.
It's like hundreds of temples are there.
Amazing.
And very old and traditional temples where sometimes they don't allow anybody outsider to even enter, But so like Guruji had this yagna movement in Orissa to awareness of yagna, and so we make the plan for 6 days. There was another consciousness experience for me, because many of Ashmatis been there many times, and first I thought I should ask everybody like how the Orissa is, tell me, and then I said no, I will take Orissa as it comes. I don't want to know and judge like how
based on someone else's experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Get an impression from that.
Yes. So I did not ask, and I just went with Gurudev, and we are 8 people went together. And when I reached the airport, there were many devotees of Gurudev who were waiting eagerly to see him. And I said, oh God, this is wow. So like people were just flowers on the fields, putting garlands all over him. Wow. And like tears were falling down in people's eyes, and was just seeing the love like pouring out everywhere. I said, oh God, it is beautiful.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yes, like witnessing that part of devotees, like devotees is like there's no boundaries, like it's that's the thing in devotion, like is like how you going to bound the sea, how you want to measure the depth of the ocean, like devotion is so. And so we reached the airport, then from there we went to Guruji ashram in Orissa guest house, and my path, inner self, is a devotion. And also my teacher, my Gurudev and my Maiji always taught me like through that devotion which is innate nature in me.
Right.
So when I see those devotees, I felt so small, not with the ego or anything. It's just humbleness. Like I seen those people in Orissa. It just, when we were there for 6 days, there is a Surendra Dada I met. His devotion is another level. Like the service, and he's like no ego, like not even ounce of ego I can feel, like when he's serving to everybody around it. I say I want to bow down to them. It was like for me opening another level of it. So like uh, when I was in while doing the yajna movement meetings and stuff, so many devotees comes and they want to touch the feet of the guru.
Right.
But my thing was, as a disciple, as a devotee, like because whenever you touch the guru feet physically,
Yeah.
it energy transform, right?
Right.
So when energy transform, like as a human, like me, I'm carrying a lot of tamas in my
Right.
system, so it change physical health of the guru.
Right. Right. So yeah. Just to give a little background to the people here,
Please.
just the so we have different levels of energy. The whole creation's made up of different levels of energy. I think we've talked about this before, of just tamas, rajas, and sattva, and in everyone's system there's certain levels of these forces. Tamas is like the unconsciousness. Rajas is like the active energy, and sattva is more of like the peace and the tranquility and awareness. And us humans, we can carry a lot of rajas and tamas, a lot of like blind activity in the rajas, and a lot of unconscious force. And Guru Prasad here, he's talking about with physical contact to another human, a lot of that energy can flow into the person that you're touching. So it's a devotional thing to, especially it's a traditional devotional thing in India, as far as I understand, to touch the feet of the Guru. And Guru Prasad, you're there, you're seeing this happen, and you're feeling like maybe we should protect the Guru from this.
Yes, exactly. So I was just thinking, like, because as a bhakta, I always want to touch my Guru feet, but because I gained the knowledge, I learned it. Uh, like, so for me was like how to stop them, because if I rudely stop them, it will hurt their feeling.
Right.
But I want to protect my Guru as well. So once they came out, humbly I went, I hold my hand together in namaste position. I say, can I request you one thing? They say, what? I say, let me explain you. When you touch the Guru physically, like it energy transform, and because he in a certain state, like his inner body or energy body will not affect, but his physical body can disturb and can get sick. So there is any way, can we not touch physically? And I'm telling you, there were men and women were standing there, and I really bow down to them, and they were touched by like like how I was requesting, but and they hugged me. I say, you can touch me, but you cannot touch my Guru. And the thing I understood that moment is like extra step with love, I think can change people's heart.
Wow.
And from that time, like they didn't touch, they were just little far, and they were as loving as they were before. But that moment, I learned like love can change people. So that was one of the moment experience in Orissa. Another experience I love to share is my ignorance. Like you always in a awareness plane and experience like sometimes like your ignorance, how you can transform that thing. So we went to temple in Jagannath Puri, and temple was crowded, but because of coronavirus it was not too crowded, but still many hundreds of people were there.
Right.
So again question comes like how I can protect my Guru, getting physically touched. And when I was thinking about, and this thought came, Guru Prasad, can you really protect your Guru? Who's protecting you? So then I realized this protection part is coming from maybe uh, ego plane, because I want to serve my guru and so I say he knows how I can protect him who's protecting me, from all over. So then I share my Gurudev. I say, this is my bhava. And he says, okay. Lovingly says, okay. So that really changed within me, how not to protect my guru. But but not to touch physically. I never touch from that day. My guru.
So you were noticing that a certain amount of that urge to protect may be coming from certain ego or identity or something like that. And
yes, if you are not aware of your consciousness, it easily can come from ego.
Right.
But if you are aware of your inner self, and if you're doing your action consciously, it will come from aspiration plane. And aspiration plane always take you to the higher state.
Right. Yeah. Well said. All right. Yeah, and I did want to ask you about it's the city name is Orissa.
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 Yes.
And so the difference between that, so it seems like there's a lot of devotion over there. It's very devotion based.
Yes.
And perhaps maybe Tiruvannamalai is where the main ashram is.
Yeah.
Is it, what is it, more Gyani
yes.
based? Yeah, because that's where I visited. It was very Gyani.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting to get the two poles
yes.
of experience there in relation to the guru.
Yes.
And see that.
Yes. So I would say Guru Force have many forms. He's a devotee to devotees, he's Gyani to Gyanis, he's Karam Yogi to Karam Yogi, and he's Kriya Yogi to Kriya Yogi for meditators. But the difference I seen in two ashrams, as you say, because this is totally Gyana, so everybody has in our system, including me, have this ego plane. It's part of us, right. And we struggle and work on it every day and try to be overcome of our hurdles and these ego things. So Gyanis also have an ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Gyanis, I felt like it's very dry, because they are very conscious about every step they are taking, because it's coming from the knowledge, the Prakriti plane and others. And Bhakta is free.
Yeah.
They don't think before they hug you or hold you and, just throw flowers on you to Guru and, just lay down on the middle of the road and touch the feet and hold the feet. That's all devotion, right? So both are two things, but it's a complement for each other.
Right.
But I felt like Gyani need devotion and devotees need Gyana. So those people as I said, somewhere we all, including myself as well, need to grow in all aspect of yoga. There is 4 Kriya, Gyana.
Mm-hmm.
Kriya is an energy system.
Right.
Gyana is knowledge, and Bhakta is a devotion, and Karma is action. So all 4 aspects is needed to become in the center. So there is one another thing experience I wrote down in my diary while I was in ashram, in daily report. When I was coming back from Orissa, and we all reached the airport in Chennai and driving 3 hours from Chennai to ashram, everybody was very happy, right? like all the Gyanis.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we are home now, and feeling good. And in my thought, I say, Guru Prasad, why you are not like so happy? Like, and I realized, like, am I belong to this ashram, right? Do I belong to Orissa more, or this ashram more,
Right.
or even do I belong to Red Dot where I went from, right? And answer came, and I say, no, I do not belong to any place. And I shared when we reached the ashram in the evening. I sat down with my Gurudev, and he say, "This is experience I felt while coming back." And he said, "Because you does not belong to any place anymore. You belong to only my energy." So, and it was my experience where I don't identify with the places anymore. You know, with only going any place I go, I am just with the Guru force,
Right.
and Mother force I'm with me. So that was the coming back experience. And in the ashram, last days of the for my trip, there is another very intense experience where my Guru Dev is sitting, and he want to see my house, my system,
Right.
in where I stand after 2 months sadhana, and and I'm sitting, and he's we are meditating together, and like then again it comes is for the love. Like I say, this is, I don't know how many lifetime it took me to sit like this and in the presence, or maybe this sound superstitious, but it's just a journey to be in the sitting in the presence of Guru and just be in one energy. That time I felt it's one energy with him, and yeah, and then next day I took a ride back.
So that was the last day you were there?
Yes.
You got to experience that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and I think you're right about how he is whatever the person needs. He's a reflection of that person. So he can give the Kriya instruction to the Kriya yogi, karma instruction to the karma yogi, that kind of thing. And I think I got to see that a little bit. I've never spent that much time with Bhagwanji yet. But the times that I have, he seemed to do that. He seemed to reflect what was happening around him very perfectly. Yeah. And I remember feeling very childlike around his presence, and then him looking at me and saying something to me, and he seemed just like a child.
Yes.
Like he's like, oh, you can stay here or you can come, but the way his eyes looked and the way he said it, like it's just like a child was speaking to me.
Yes. Yes.
So he that I noticed, he had that reflection, and then he can switch roles, any role. He can play any role, it seems.
Yes.
So completely. So it's a joy to watch these masters and see them in action.
Yes.
Because you can see what freedom is.
Yes. The beauty of being, as you say, to watching the master is like when they need to scroll you, to discipline you, they are carrying so strong force, to like, because they have nothing to do with your mental plane, all they have to do with your psychic plane. They are working on your psychic.
Right.
So when they put their force, and they are not teaching you, they are transmitting their energy and their force, like to discipline you, is amazing. Like it go like a thunderbolt in your system and shake you up all the way.
Yeah.
You know?
And they're like very direct into
Yes.
ge- not hitting that certain part of the system that
Yes.
is holding you back. So,
Yes. True.
Yeah, it's quite a grace
Yes.
to have people like that around.
Sure.
And I think it's time for the earth to really just dive right into this type of thing
Yes.
and we need more people of that consciousness
Yes.
to take responsibility and stand
Yes.
up in that role and be that channel where divine action can come through. Just the right action to raise the earth to the next level can just come forth, manifest.
Yes.
And it's these experiences that we share are just very precious because they all kind of describe that. And I think it maybe even prepares the culture and prepares the earth for, like I said, diving deep into it a little bit further, a little bit more completely, so that that we can get a move on and not go backwards in our development, but really manifest and reveal what the divine has in store, whatever that may be.
Yes. For all the listeners and everybody who's listening and this sharing, one thing I would say, go find the Guru. If you find the Guru and right Guru who can transform you, if you find, I think my anybody journey 90% is complete once they find the Guru. And once you find the Sadguru, in a nature is like who can really transmit his energy, his force into your system to transform. I think that's very important. And from my personal experience, I always hold only two things in me which keep me moving. First is aspiration to reach my higher state, and second, devotion to my Guru. This is the only two things I have. I am not a Gyani. I don't know anything others than just devotion to my Guru. And I'm very, very thankful to my Gurudev and to my Mai. I will share one mantra I always chant every morning, if it's okay.
Absolutely.
Call Om Dhyanam Moolam Guru Murti Puja Mulyam Guru Padam Mantra Mulyam Guru Vakyam Moksha Mulyam Guru Kripa Tumeva Mata Cha Pita Tumeva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tumeva Vidya Darvinam Tumeva Sarvam Mam Deva Deva Tumeva Sarvam Mam Deva Deva. So, wish you all good luck for beautiful inner journey. I hope, I wish, I pray we all reach oneness within us. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mukta ji.
Thank you, Guruprasad. And thank you, everyone. This is a great place to wrap it up. And let's just sit with this feeling and experience it.
Yes.
Much love.
You too. And I bow down to my Guru. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Sukham Bhavatu. Sukham Bhavatu. Sukham Bhavatu. Purohitam Yagyasya
thank you, Guruprasad, for joining us again. And I really appreciate you opening your heart and sharing all your intimate experiences with the Divine Shakti Arts audience. It'd be a really nice insight for all of us to just experience that and listen to someone who's so devoted. So I also wanted to share a little bit about Divine Shakti Arts, and if you'd like to learn about us more, you could check out our website. It's www.divineshaktiarts.com. There we also have an online store where you could purchase clothing and canvas prints and different things, iPhone cases with original art on it, things like that. There's also a support page where you could support us on Patreon. And then also check out our Instagram and Facebook page. We do post there often, and you can kind of see what we're up to, things that we're doing, and would love to hear from you.
Yes,